I am back to continue my series, 5 Things About the Shadow. This is thing number 3, and it is a reiteration of something I have already mentioned, and that is that the shadow often comes bearing gifts. So the shadow is comprised of the rejected parts of yourself, maybe more, depending on how you define the shadow. It is subconscious material, but the parts that I'm interested in are the parts that you have rejected about yourself, often before you were even verbal, when you were very, very small and your mind was like a little sponge and you were just trying to figure out how to survive and be accepted and feel safe and secure. So a lot of what gets pushed into the shadows are things that made us feel threatened in our environment. So things that people shamed us for, or anytime you were too much, you are too much of this, you are too much of that, you need to tone this down about yourself. If that happened to you repeatedly or even once with a lot of intensity when you were very young, maybe a teacher shamed you when you were trying to sing a song or share something with the class. Maybe you were told that you talk too much, and ultimately come to find out the gift in that shadow, you learn to silence your voice and push it down, and then through doing shadow work, come to find out you're a podcaster or a speaker or whatever it may be. People have stories like this all the time of a cruel teacher who embarrassed them in front of the class, told them they're not a real artist, so they decided they're not creative, they're not a creative person, when in fact they are. Things like that are hiding out in your shadow. So a lot of people have the misconception that your shadow is bad or evil or negative. It's all the stuff about you that sucks. And that is just not true. Sometimes your gifts actually present in a problematic way because they've been repressed. They kind of act out to get your attention because there are many different versions of you inside, many different ages of you inside. And it is my belief that they long for wholeness. They long to be allowed, to be accepted, if not loved, just to be allowed to be what they are so that you can be whole and complete unto yourself. And so they will do things to get your attention, like, hey, yo, I am here. And it might be kind of like a kid acting out in class to get attention. It might not be pleasant the way they act out, but then it could just be that this part of you needs love because it has something valuable to add to your life or to your family or to your community, maybe even the world at large. So that's a good incentive for doing shadow work, because we don't want your gifts to go to waste. We want you to get to be who you really truly are without shame, and to be able to express that in a healthy way. So that is one of the reasons why shadow work is so awesome. It's not just so we can heal all of the so-called negative or bad things about us. It's also so that we can bring out some of our best, most interesting qualities.